What's going on, guys? BladeZilla here, and today I've got a real cool tiny little CKF knife to take a look at and do a short little video on. Pun intended, obviously, on the short little video part of this, but really cool one from CKF. This is the KEK, so KEK. Tiny little blade, folder from CKF and Alexi Connigan on the design front. This to me is just stupidly cool. It's kind of the opposite of kind of some of the Riot big heavy hitters that we've had lately, just these big heavy 12-ounce knives. This is kind of the opposite of that and kind of rare. A lot of little details on this that we'll kind of go over and review during our time together. But that's what we got on the docket. Let's fold this monster blade out, and that's what's on the docket today. So as a reminder, guys, check out BladeZilla.ca. That's my website. I'm in Canada. BladeZilla.ca. Lots of Shiro, CKFs, Microtechs. Just added some of these Sinkovich strips. Really cool knives. I did a video on that just before this one. So just an amazing knife. Tracked down some more of these F3 Facebook group knives, MagnaCut. Those actually glow in the dark, which is awesome. The new Bears F95s, the new colors of the Astroms, all kinds of cool stuff. Riot ProTech, CKFs. Lots of cool options on the site. But that's not what we're here for. We're not here to talk about BladeZilla.ca. We're here to talk about the CKF Custom Knife Factory KEK. I think it's the KEK. K-E-K? Yeah, KEK. Let's go KEK. Lots of jokes could probably come from the name of that. And we're not going to get into that because this is a mature channel and audience group. So we're not going to be the brunt of those. Let's start off with some of the details, with some of the measurements. I suppose, you know, like you can see, it's about the size of a thumb. Not a very big knife, but we'll get a measurement on it. Let's see, it's got to be what, an inch long blade. Overall length of, geez, 3 inches, 3¼ looks like. Blade length of, I don't know what it is on paper, but I'm seeing literally 1 1/8 inches. So a very tiny little knife, handle of 2 inches. So sometimes it's not the size, it's how you utilize it, how you use it. So they offered this in 3 different variants. I believe the Stonewash, I thought they did a DLC variant, and then I thought a Stonewash with a Damascus blade. I think the DLC and the Stonewash like this, I think they were right around $300 US table. And then the Damascus, I want to say it was like another 100, so maybe 400. So pretty cool price point for a CKF. All the design factor that you'd expect from them, the execution, etc. So let's get started. How does this fit in my hand? Well, it gets lost in it, quite honestly, and I think it's more of a 3-finger kind of user. You're not going to get a full wrap of any kind. You know, my thumb takes up the entire top of this knife. But it is really rough, dripping, really grippy, so that's good for utilization of the space. So that's nice. On the bottom, the whole base is all covered in that same kind of patterning. As you can kind of tell, big cutouts so that you can kind of grip it where you want. There's nothing protecting your finger from kind of sliding up into that blade, which is kind of a bit of a Warncliffe, a little warny. So just be warned. That, you know, there is nothing preventing you from sliding up. There is a bit of a spot in the choil there, so that if you did want to start sharpening it, it's not gonna be too big of a problem, but just heads up more than anything on that. We do have a space as well for a lanyard hole. The lanyard bead could potentially oust the size of the knife itself, but just keep in mind you can attach something to it. It's not gonna kind of get in the way there. We've got some writing on the inside of this. I believe it says Connigan Design. I don't think it says Alexi Connigan. I think it just says Connigan Design. They are individually numbered. I don't know where they're numbered. I haven't really looked too closely, but I think, oh, there it is on the blade itself. So they are numbered with the steel as well, M398, which is a nice touch. Big cutouts as well on those thumb studs to open and close that blade. I don't see this being much of a super, fidgety knife. It feels more like a slip joint and how that design works. You know, it pushes up this frame, bends the knife back, and then falls into the cutout on the blade. Like that, really solid, but same kind of thing. You just push it back the other way, and it rolls through and back and locks the other direction. Super simple mechanism, practical, and it works. They've polished the blade there for that action as well. So that's cool, as it kind of rolls and then pop into place. This to me is just cool, something that, you know, if you're a knife nut, this is something you could attach to like a keychain pretty easily. And, you know, it could be a great conversation starter. You could also put it in your pocket and kind of forget about it quite easily. Another nice little detail is the nose on the blade here on the top. It's got a polish to it. Maybe I should show that with it open. There's a polish on the top of this on both sides, which is just a nicely execution detail that, you know, it's not anything crazy. It's a nice little detail, right? It's not mirrored as far as I can tell, or maybe it's a lightly mirrored. Yeah, I think it is actually. Very, very light mirror. Nice little mirror polish there. That's nice. Nice touch. Kind of reminds me a lot of the Barm, but just a little tinier. Mini Barm. That's basically what this is, right? I'm just kidding. Big hardware, which is kind of counterintuitive to the overall size of the knife, because let's be honest, when we see most CKFs, most of anybody's knives, the hardware is like a T, what, 6, 8? This looks like it's, geez, north of a T25, possibly T30 on the Torx. So very, very different design-wise. You know, tiny blade, massive hardware. Just maybe they're just trying to go solid and pack a punch overall. Pocket clip, obviously very usable. What's funny to me is that it's not a full clip, so you're still going to have a little bit of the knife sticking out, which is not much knife at all, but it's just funny that they wouldn't do a full clip on the design. Very much the same style as a lot of the Konigan designs that they've done on a lot of the other ones, and geez, I've reviewed, I don't know how many CKF knives now, or Konigan designs through the Shirogorov network as well, and they knock it out of the park. They really do. In the design front, I've never had a bad one. And then that combined with the execution from CKF, it's just cool. I'd be kind of curious to open this up and see what's on the inside from what I'm looking at initially. You know, there are some Easter eggs in here, but I can't really see them because of my lighting right now. I don't know if that can change for the camera, if you can kind of peek inside and see anything that's super cool. Personally, I would have loved to see the numbering done on the actual inside here versus the blade, but CKF really likes to do the blade. That's just what they do, and that's their style, so no need to mess with that. Behind that clip, you can see there's that dead end hardware, the blank, which is nice. It looks like it kind of leans on there a little bit as well, just a hair. And then some skeletonization on that clip, just to kind of add to the overall theme, right? Big, long, kind of mismatched shape cutouts. That's what Konigan does. It's just very quirky, very asymmetric in design nature. So you can see through the whole thing. Yet the thumb studs are very symmetrical and usable. So pretty darn cool. Look at that half folded shot. Isn't that just gorgeous? Kind of looks like a dinosaur skull with it open like that. I'm just going to put that out there. Jurassic Park. But yeah, really cool little tiny blade. You know, the micro knife front world has been kind of growing a lot in the last few years, I've noticed. It's kind of funny, like the big end of the spectrum is it's a lot more traction lately, and then the tiny micro end as well is just getting a little more traction, because, don't quote me on this, I don't want to be held liable, but a knife like this, I'm pretty sure you can actually travel with, because, what was that, there's a Spyderco knife that a lot of people tend to default to travel with because of the blade length. I don't see why this wouldn't tick that box. It's a tiny little cutter, it's a keychain knife, and if there's problems with it, like, I don't know what kind of damage you can really do with this. You know, you're not taking down a deer with this knife, but you never know. You know, I've been proven wrong in the past. As well, the entire package is just nicely put together, as you can see through the seams. They're all beveled nice and tight all the way around through the knife. Just a well-made CKF. This kind of reminds me a lot of another design that we had. Was it the heck was it called? It's like, it honestly looks like a much bigger version of this. I can't remember what that knife was called, but it looks similar. Really cool one. So I'm going to, I've got a couple of these to put up in the store. I think they're really cool, and you know, that's a mini keychain knife, good price point, well made, M398, which is unheard of as well at this price point, and then a full titanium frame with the lanyard hole. And what I love how as well with that lanyard hole, I didn't mention this, they kept it full size. So once again, very counterintuitive to the hardware and the overall size. They kept a full-size lanyard hole, so you don't have to really scale that down. If you want a massive bead hanging off there, you can kind of do whatever you want. I will show a couple size comparisons just because, why not? I don't have anything in the 2-inch conversation. That's what she said. But there's a Rosie for comparison. You guys know how small an Oz Roosevelt is by comparison, and this is the size of the blade. Okay, keep that in mind. This is not a big knife. This camera is zoomed in much more than I normally would for the same video shot. So tiny little knife. And then if we want to get into the big stuff, let's get a Quantum here. There's your Shiro Quantum. And normally I wouldn't compare such drastic differences, but I feel like you guys need to know why I'm talking about a keychain knife being cool, right? And when I zoom in and make it look big in hand and oh, blah, blah, he's got small hands, whatever. You know, it's not a big knife. It's, you know, the size of, you know, for my Canadian friends, it'd be like a toonie and a half. Good number, right? And then other notable ones we can kind of compare it with. Let's grab a small Sebenza. That's the other smallest knife I kind of have. Let's put that guy away and grab our small Sebenza, which once again is not a big knife. Just for comparison. I don't know why I'm doing this, but once again, why not? I'll grab that Para 2. Just everybody knows what a Para 2 is. And I feel like this Para 2 could literally eat the KEK and digest it without any issues. So there you go. Pretty cool. The video is not going to be long today, much like the knife, just because on this one there's a lot of little details, but not a ton to talk about, just because it kind of is what it is. 3 versions, you know, full-size bead on it. You have basically a 1-inch blade. Full-size hardware, kind of a slip joint style operating mechanism, kind of, in that there's no official locking path for it. It's just kind of, you know, flexing that lock bar, which is kind of cool. Lock bar, here I am saying it's not locking, but there's a lock bar. It sounds so contradictory, but that's okay. Kind of looks like a dinosaur skull, in my opinion, which is cool if you're into dinosaurs, if you're a dinosaur guy, or a Jurassic Park enthusiast. Other than that, cool knife, titanium, great materials, M398. If there's more demand for some of the other configurations, I can certainly bring in some DLC or some variants with that Damascus blade. But for the time being, I just dig classic stonewash because I think they just, I just love that color configuration. That CKF always knocks it out of the park. So I don't have a whole lot of issues with it. All right, guys, I've probably rambled on for over 10 minutes, so I'll probably end things there. Appreciate you guys stopping by and checking out a gorgeous knife. Check out BladeZilla.ca. Follow me on YouTube where we're watching this right now. Throw a thumbs up, subscribe. It helps every Monday and Thursday, 7 a.m. Eastern, full-length video. And then the other socials, Instagram, TikTok, what's the other one? Threads, Facebook. Lots of good places to contact me. Love chatting knives. More than anything, it's a hobby that I love. So, and quite frankly, if there's anything you guys want to see in Canada, send me a note. As long as it's completely legal to bring in, I can usually source it. So there you go. All right, guys, have yourself a fantastic week, and hopefully this started it off well and you enjoyed your coffee. And we'll see you again on Thursday. Peace, guys.